Prevenge is a British horror comedy that came out earlier this year and is written by, directed by, and also stars Alice Lowe, and is about a pregnant woman whose unborn baby is telling her to kill people. Yeah, that's the kind of movie we're in for. I was intrigued by this movie for two different reasons. One, it's easily one of the simplest but weirdest concepts I've ever heard for a movie, and that alone made me want to see it because I wanted to see how they went about getting away with it on the big screen. And also, the second reason why I was intrigued to see this movie is the fact that Alice Lowe is behind this movie. And I've really liked her work on British TV shows such as This Is Jinsey and other stuff like that. And the fact that she's worked with people like Ben Wheatley, who made this year's Free Fire and last year's High Rise, I was really intrigued to see if working with him would kind of rub off onto her own directorial debut in terms of the way it's shot and the way it's stylized. I'm just going to straight up say it. I enjoyed Prevenge way more than I thought I would. I went into it expecting to at least like it, but I actually ended up kind of loving it. And the main thing that impressed me about this movie is the fact that the whole thing was written, filmed, and I even think finished within the space of 2 weeks, as well as the fact that Alice Lowe, the writer, director, and main star of the movie, was heavily pregnant during the entire thing. And the fact that it turned out as well as it did is one hell of an achievement. I mean, when I was watching the movie, I did not get the impression that it was all done within the space of a couple of weeks. It looked just as professional as something that would take about 5 or 6 months to make. And that is really damn impressive, especially seeing the kind of constraints they had trying to make this movie. Now, one thing that took me by surprise in this movie is its story, and in particular, how it plays out. Because I went into this movie expecting it to literally be a pregnant woman just killing random people. But as the movie progresses, you start to realise there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, at the start of the movie, that is what it looks like. She just kills random people. But as the movie goes on, and you start to hear more of her conversations in her head with her own baby, that you start to realise that she is killing specific people for specific reasons. And it gives her, the whole character of Ruth, played by Alice Lowe, it just gives her another level that I really wasn't expecting. And it actually kind of makes you sympathise with her, which is something I really wasn't expecting to do, seeing that she's, you know, killing people. So yeah, the story itself and the way it unravels gives the movie a lot of its intrigue, heart, and especially its humour, which is supplied mostly through the scenes where Ruth is talking to her baby, but also in the deaths themselves. A lot of them aren't really clean and, you know, just straightforward kills. A lot of them are played for comedy, especially this one scene where she has to kill a woman who is this kind of athlete kind of person who's in the middle of exercising. That scene is absolutely hilarious. And that moves on to my next point. The acting in this movie is great all around. Alice Lowe is by far the standout as the main character, Ruth. Like I said, at first, you're kind of not sure about her, but as the movie progresses, you do start to root for her, and she does become a really likeable, if kind of crazy character. You also have other side characters like Kayvan Novak, who you may recognise as Phone Jacker. He's really good in the movie, and especially towards the end, he does become a lot more likeable. And there is actually a purpose for his character being there. And you have other people like Tom Davis who do get their moments to shine. And if you've seen the movie, you'll completely understand why. But those moments in particular with the individual people that she is going to kill are genuinely funny. Not just the deaths themselves, but the interactions she has with them before they die are both awkward, cringy, but actually really funny as well. I also really like the soundtrack to this movie. It was very synth driven and it didn't really, you know, have its moments to pop out. It just kind of stayed in the back and subtly built the atmosphere that was already built up with like the cinematography and that. And I thought it was really good for the sake of the movie. It wasn't outstanding, but it did fit the tone and the style of the movie perfectly. In the end, I'm going to give Prevenge an 8 out of 10. If you enjoy British comedies that have a slight dark side to them, then I think you'll highly enjoy Prevenge. I mean, I had a ton of fun watching it. So guys, that was my review for Prevenge. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Bye!